The purpose of this training is to cover the basics of Reading Wonders online features. By the end of this training, you'll understand how to do the following: get started with a login, use the calendar, set it up and modify it, manage your class and your students, learn how to use the Teach module to launch a presentation, assign resources, and know where to get additional help. Alright, to get started, the first thing that I'd like for you to do is log in to your ConnectEd account for Reading Wonders. There's always a quick link to get to the ConnectEd teacher login under the FT Tech Tips site. You can click on it here and it will take you directly to the page. Once you are logged in, you're then going to be able to view both your teacher edition and your student edition. For the purpose of this training, I'm going to be using the grade 1 teacher edition. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter which grade level that I choose, the interface of using Reading Wonders is the same for every grade level. The first item in Reading Wonders that you need to master is your calendar, or I should say how to modify it for Franklin Township, because we do not use every component of Reading Wonders every single day of the week. So I'm going to pause this for just a second and then I'm going to pull up how to get to your calendar. So within the Reading Wonders site, you're going to click on the icon that says Plan. Once I click on it, I'm then going to click right here where it says Calendar. And then it's actually going to pull up my calendar. Now, I'm going to pause the video again because I'm going to take you to a portion of the FT Tech site that's going to cover how to set up your calendar at the very beginning of the school year. Alright, so I have pulled up the FT Tech site and I've scrolled down on that Reading Wonders page to get to the section where I have videos that are specifically about the calendar by itself. I had to make 2 videos because if you teach kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd grade, then you need to watch this video and it's going to explain to you how to set up your calendar for the beginning of the year. If you teach in grades 4 and 5, you need to watch this video because you do not use the Smart Start at all, and so you're going to be modifying your calendar even different from those people that are at those lower grades. The number one thing I do want teachers to know is that they do have to set up their calendar every year. Okay? I'm also going to scroll down just a little bit because when you log in August at the beginning of the year and you're starting to set up your class, I want you to double check to make sure that your class from the previous year has been removed. You'll know whether or not if you've done this because when you start to log into Reading Wonders at the beginning of the school year, it should ask you to reset up your calendar. If it does not, and it pops up and says like Unit 6, Week 6, or something that fell from the end of last year, that's a flag or that's a warning sign that you did not remove your class. So if you'll follow the instructions that I have here, it's telling you how to remove your class so that you can reset your calendar. But one last time, I did want to say that you do need to watch one of these 2 videos depending upon your grade level so that you know exactly how to modify your calendar. It will take you through it step by step. So the next phase of Reading Wonders, once you have that calendar set up, is to learn about the Manage section. I'm going to show you how to create a class and add your students. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to click right here where it says Manage and Assign. So I clicked on this and I'm going to take a look at class details, and as of right now it's showing me that I do have a class set up but I do not have any students. So let's talk about how do you add students. Now I do want you to know that our help desk system is the group of people that are tapping into the Reading Wonders database, and they're the ones that are uploading all students from Franklin Township into the Reading Wonders database. You are not adding students. Our help desk takes care of that for you. So let's start off by clicking on the plus students. When I click on that, I tend to keep it at all classes, all content, all grades, but if you want to delineate down to the grade level that you teach, that's always an option. But basically what you're going to do is you are going to look for a certain student's name. So I've typed in a first and last name, and then I'm going to select search. When it finds the student, then you're going to check mark the person's name, and then you're going to select save. You now see that the student is added. You are going to repeat this process for each individual student. I know I was asked by some teachers about whether or not if I could do entering several kids at once, and unfortunately Reading Wonders does not have it set up that way. You do have to click the plus sign each and every time that you want to add a new student. Now once you have your entire class loaded in here, I want you to take a look at where it says teaching level. This is a great feature that Reading Wonders has. Right now it's going to default that every student in your class is at on grade level. So stop and think about those groups that come back to you at teacher table and determine what category that student would fall under. ELL, approaching, on level, or even beyond. What this does once we get to the student online features is that it customizes what the student can view when they log in. So again, once you finish loading all of your students, make sure that you indicate what teaching level that student is at. Also, since we're in this category, take a look over here and it says print passwords. If I click on that, it will then automatically generate that list so that I can print it out and hand it out to students so that they have their username and password so that when they are at home, they can access the content online. One last item about once you've added your class, it is easy for a teacher to be able to remove any student from their class. They can just click that remove button. But I do need you to know that anytime that you have a new student as a part of your class, you need to email help desk and let them know that the name of the student that just enrolled, and then they will add them to the Reading Wonders database. So next let's move into assign or creating assignments for students. First I'm going to click on the home button so I get back to my main page, and when I get ready to make an assignment, I'm going to start off by doing that by clicking on the resources button. When I click on that option, over here off to the side in blue, I want you to notice all of the different options of content that you can actually assign to students. Ebooks, leveled readers, time for kids, student practice, all of these different options. To demonstrate, I'm going to click on interactive games and activities. Within every single one of the options that you see pop up, you will notice that there is a pencil, a star, and then a spoked wheel. You're going to be clicking on the spoked wheel to add an assignment to your students. So I'm going to click on that wheel and I'm going to select Assign this resource. When I do that, this window will pop up. It does require you to give the assignment a name, and in this case it's a mechanics mini lesson, so I could just put in mini lesson. You get to decide if you want the teacher to review the fact that the student has done the assignment or not. You can actually type in your own assignment instructions that you want to give for your student. There's a start date, a due date, and an expiration date. Especially when you're thinking about the games that you can assign to kids, sometimes teachers don't want an expiration date or they want to extend a due date so they get to have that assignment for multiple weeks. I wanted you to notice that down at the bottom, you get to decide who it is that you want to get that assignment. Do you want all of your class, none of your class, or do you want to delineate it down to the different teacher table groups? So if you find a skill that you think that a certain group that comes back to you that they need extra practice on, then they have that capability. When you're totally done, then you're just going to click the Assign button, and then the assignment has been activated. And again, keep in mind that you have a lot of different choices of things that you can assign to kids. I just demonstrated it with the interactive games, but you can actually assign assessments, graphic organizers, all different types of activities for your students. All right, so let's take a look at what it looks like when a student actually logs in. I want you to notice up at the top there's a black bar, and within that black bar there's a button that says Connect Ed. I want you to click on that, and what it does is it takes you back to that interface where you can see both the teacher edition and the student edition. I want teachers to know that that's there because some people thought that they had to log out and then log back in to be able to view the student edition. You can use that button to toggle back and forth between that teacher edition and student edition. So let's go ahead and click on the student edition. All right, so when it activates for you, whatever is on the front cover of your student book is the picture of the animal that's going to appear in the middle of the screen there. Now, let's take a look at what the students will get to do. First of all, a parent is going to be interested in this school to home. On this section, a parent can actually get access to the vocabulary words that you're covering for that week, and they can open up like an interactive version or an original format version of the same workbook pages that you've been doing in class that week. They can also click on the comprehension pages as well. In addition to that, a parent can also click where it says spelling list, and they can view that spelling list for that week. A great feature for parents. I'm going to go ahead and click on Home within the Student Edition again. And we'll just go through it step by step so you can see the benefit of when a student logs in. So the first thing that a student is going to like is they can click on Read. And when they do that, basically it's opening up what you can view as a student of what you see that a teacher has done for that week. As long as the teacher's calendar is set up correctly, then the student can view the correct text. The teacher doesn't need to make it complicated for the student to be able to find the text that they're talking about. As long as the teacher has the calendar set up, then the correct text will automatically pop up for your student. Down to leveled readers, basically the entire chunk of that textbook for that week is all available for the kids online. The next icon sends games. Again, as long as your calendar is set up correctly, then the student will automatically have assigned to them games that already match the content that is being covered for Reading Wonders that week. That's great because if a teacher doesn't want to assign additional games, Reading Wonders has already taken care of that for you, or they've got a bank of games that are automatically aligned each week. That's a really great feature. The next one is the Write button. Under this one, for the younger grades, they can actually pull up interactive handwriting lessons. For the upper grades, instead of it being handwriting practice, they can actually pull up keyboarding practice for them to work on. Under the Words to Know, This is great because it's actually going to pop up the same thing that a teacher can project when they're ready to start each week and cover the vocabulary. So the student can click on any of the words and get the same interactive experience that a teacher can do whole class. You can click on the audio buttons and it will read it out loud. You'll get to see the examples and the routines just like the teacher can do in class. Now the button over here where it says to do, now nothing is going to appear over here, but if you do make an assignment for your students, this is where that they will see it. So it will pop up over in this section, and that is how a student will know that they have an assignment. Also, to let you know, there will be a little bubble up in the corner that'll have a number next to it. If you've made one assignment, it'll have a 1, and so on. And keep in mind, there are many other advanced features of what students can do with the online access, but again, for the purpose of this training, I'm just covering the basics of what you can do online. Okay, so let's talk about when you are getting ready to teach whole group and how you launch the presentation when you're getting ready to start that whole group instruction. So to get back to that mode, I'm going to click on the ConnectEd button, and once again it's going to take me back to my teacher and student edition. You're going to click back on your teacher edition, and once you click on it, to access the week that you're on, again, if your calendar is set up correctly, it should automatically already have the presentation that you need, but you're going to click on that button that says Launch Presentation. I'm going to move that over so you can see it. Okay, so it starts out with that essential question, but then you're going to select this item right here. And now you get access to all of the content that you need for that day. So each day, whenever you start teaching Reading Wonders and you're going to be doing something whole group with the class and you want to project it on the screen, then you do want to hit that launch presentation and then hit that down arrow so that that way you can access all of the items for the day. So if you need additional help with Reading Wonders, there is a place within their site that you can access video tutorials. Within the main page, you're going to click on that button that says Professional Development. Once you click on it, then you're going to select the tab that says Tech How To. When you select it, over here off to the side, there are individual video tutorials about how to use the calendar, how to teach, manage and assign, how to assign different resources, and so on. I know I've given you a brief overview, but if you need a more extensive training, you can always go to this area to get additional help. And always remember for additional information, you can go to the fttech.tips website. You're going to go under the elementary tab, and under that you will see a web page that says Reading Wonders to find all other kinds of resources that are available to you anytime, anywhere.